Isadora, and welcome to Brazen Babe Reviews. Let's get started, shall we?
What should I watch today? Any suggestions?
Okay, let's try this again with the different filter. Okay. I don't know what I'm gonna read next, cause I'm done with the cigarette. Yeah. Okay, let's see. By E.B. Zaboli. Oh God, I hope I don't mess her name up. E.B. Zaboli? Yeah, I think that's how you say it. This is gonna be a reality for November. He would be king by YouTuber.
Hi babes, it's Sharonda Isadora, and as always, welcome to Brazen Babe Reviews. And during this video, I will be talking about a movie that I caught on Netflix over this past weekend, which was called or named Till Death Do Us Part. This is a PG-13 movie. It is also a mystery thriller. You're going to spend about 1 hour and some change watching it on Netflix. Your cast is Stephen Bishop, who plays Michael Rowland. Annie, oh Lord, I feel like I'm going to say this lady's name wrong, y'all. It looks like Ionez or Iazez. She plays the wife, Madison Rowland. And then you have Taye Diggs. So these are your three main protagonists in the story. We also have Robin Lee, who plays Madison's best friend Chelsea in the movie. And we also get a little cameo from Malik Yoba. He plays one of Michael's best friends. This movie is directed by Chris Stokes, and it was a screenplay by Marquise Houston. Remember Marquise Houston with his old fine self? I wonder what he was doing these days. But he did the screenplay for the show. I don't know if this was ever released in the theaters or anything like that, but like I said, you can currently catch it on Netflix. So what we have when we go inside of the story is we have Michael and Madison Rowland, who are this seemingly happily married couple. They are, Madison, at the time that we go inside of the movie, she has decided to be a full-time wife. She stays at home, stay-at-home wife. They don't currently have any children, but Madison is trying to get pregnant. And at the beginning of the movie, Michael comes off as a very loving and attentive husband, but he does give me kind of like, he gave me like creepy, controlling vibes. And he hid that under being this very, like I said, this attentive, charming, guy or whatever. So this is what we have when we go in the beginning of the movie. As I said, Michael and Madison, they seem to have like this perfect life, this perfect marriage. Everything is good. But somewhere down the line, things get a little bit crazy and Michael becomes this abusive husband. He gave off like controlling vibes in the movie. I mean, like in the beginning of the movie, he gave off controlling vibes. I think it was like one scene he was working out and she had brought water out to him in the movie, and he was like, oh, I can't drink water. And, she kind of like laughed it off, played it off, whatever. And was just like, she forgot. But, there were certain scenes inside of the movie where he gave off, like I said, these kind of like controlling vibes. But he never gave off like these kind of like abusive. He never came off as like abusive. But we all know that some men have a very sneaky way, a good way of hiding their abusive ways. So as things get a little bit more crazy between them, as I said, Madison is trying to get pregnant, have a baby, because that's what's the thing. And I don't know, like in the movie, it was never kind of like mentioned, like before they got married, if he wanted children. But there was like some point in the movie where when she kept trying to like get pregnant and she wasn't getting pregnant or whatever, he kind of like put it off on her a little bit, like, you know, maybe it's something with you, you know, being manipulative and controlling as he could be. You know, Madison finds out what, you know, that he's doing something to prevent her from getting pregnant, and they kind of like have like this argument, and this is where kind of like the abuse starts to come in, the physical, emotional, and verbal abuse in the movie. And it gets so bad where Madison decides that she has to leave. She can't take it anymore. She does happen to get pregnant, and Michael seems to like take it in stride, but you can kind of like tell that he's not happy with the situation, and he's still putting his hands on her, you know, while she's pregnant or whatever. So Madison gets to the point where she can't take it anymore, and her best friend Chelsea, who was still a nurse working at the hospital, Madison even, like, before I go into my next point, Madison even had to like sneak and like go start working again at the hospital, you know, because he didn't want her working or anything like that. And it was just kind of like crazy. And she had to sneak behind his back to actually, you know, start working again at the hospital. Not part-time. She started working at the hospital or whatever. So my point was, before I mentioned that, was that Madison decided that she couldn't take it anymore, and her best friend Chelsea decided to come up with this elaborate plan where they actually plan her death, and, you know, for him to like just leave her alone, whatever. And it seems to work initially, and he believes she's dead, and Madison starts to have this new life where she takes on this new life, and she takes the name of Kate. And this is where she meets Taye Diggs' character. His name was Alex. She had done, she's no longer working or anything. Like, well, she works like at this diner or whatever and stuff like that. And she's laying low, basically, or whatever. And she meets Taye Diggs' character. His name was Alex. And she's pregnant at this time, but Alex lives next door. Single dad, taking care of his daughter and stuff like that. And as the movie go out through the movie, we see where Madison is kind of like, or Kate at this point in the movie, her name is Kate. Madison Kate is kind of like, she's worried of Alex because of the situation that she left with, you know, with Michael or whatever. And like I said, she's trying to keep like a low cover because she doesn't want Michael getting any idea that she's like alive and out there in the world or whatever. Which I thought, like, why didn't you just move to a different goddamn state, like, while living the same state and basically not too far? I'm just like, I don't know if it was too far, but I do believe it was in the same state, and that just kind of like blew my mind, because I was like, girl, I would have been halfway across the goddamn world, especially for all the shit he was doing to her, even while she was pregnant. Like, bitch, no. But anyway, so her, you know, as she goes through her pregnancy, she starts to get closer with Alex and his daughter, and her and Alex are starting to, like, have like the strong attraction and stuff like that towards one another. But Madison Kate, she is still kind of like worried of being in any type of a relationship because of her past issues with the crazy. I can't even call him ex-husband because technically she was still married to dude or whatever. So somehow, some way, this crazy MFer. Well, I know the way, but I'm not going to tell you guys because I don't want to like give you like too much. But during the movie, he ends up finding out that she is still alive, and he proceeds to. This is where like the thriller part of the movie comes in, and he kind of like stalks her before he goes full blown crazy and just intrudes in her new world. And she basically, she done had the baby, and her and Alex are kind of like, deciding if they want to go a little bit further in their relationship and stuff like that. So once the old crazy husband finds out that she's still alive, we go through this whole kind of like, this is where we go through this whole thing where she has to basically fight to stay alive, to keep her baby alive, and go through the whole motions with this crazy MF. I liked the movie. What I liked about the movie was Madison's Kate's. I like that they had her as like the strong female type, but how like you say like when you have like these strong type women and they're in these abusive relationships, and them, and you just like you're just thinking like in the back of your head like, how did she put up with it for so long? So I like that we had that Kate was this very outspoken, opinionated woman, but as the abuse went on, she was making excuses for what abusive people do. You make excuses for them. You start to take the blame a little bit and stuff like that. So I like that the characters were like well developed characters, in their perspective roles. The guy that played Michael, he I thought his acting was a little bit off. I didn't care for his acting, especially in some scenes where he had to be like abusive towards her or whatever. It didn't look very like real, and I don't know if like him, the dude that played the abusive husband or whatever, if he felt very comfortable, playing that type of character. It just looked like sometimes he just wasn't like in full character mode or whatever. Taye Diggs is Taye Diggs. Taye Diggs is a awesome actor. I can't say anything bad about him or anything like that. In real life, I think he's a little nutty, but it is what it is. Some things that I didn't like about the movie, I was gonna say like we never really got like a full reason why like this dude went from this seemingly loving, attentive husband into like this kind of like psychopath, abusive dude. Like he had like controlling ways, and some people are just like that sometimes, but they never put their hands on you. So like we got like a little bit like at the end of the movie like how he had kind of like this kind of like difficult relationship with his father, like how his father left his mother, him and his mother and stuff like that. But we never really kind of like got like a story of like, why is this dude like this? You know what I mean? Because I just feel like, yeah, you can be controlling sometimes, like as far as him not wanting her to work or anything, but he never really like cut her off for from her friends or anything like that. He just didn't want her working. And sometimes, like, is she like with the water thing that I said, like when she slipped up and like gave him water after one of his tried to give him like water to drink after one of his workouts. It was, he didn't say it like in a menacing type of a way, you know what I mean? So like from him to go from like 0 to 60, I kind of thought that was like a little bit off in the movie itself. And the other thing I didn't like was like at the end of the movie, like he found out about her by kind of like, going after her best friend, and he kind of like caught up with the best friend. But like by the end of the movie, we never knew what happened to the best friend. Like what happened to her? Like he caught up with her, and yeah, he probably threatened her to find out like where Madison Kate lived at currently and all this other stuff. But what happened to the best friend? But there were some words on the screen at the end of the movie. And I didn't have my glasses on, so maybe I just missed that whole part. Maybe they gave an explanation and that kind of like, worded thing or whatever. But, most of the times when movies where you have like domestic violence in a storyline or whatever, they give you that whole spiel at the end. Like, if you know somebody that's like in an abusive relationship, call, domestic violence hotline, all of that. So it could have been something like that. But I just didn't like how we didn't find out what happened to the best friend. Like we know what happened to his ass, and and what his old stalker's ass tried to do. But what did he do with the best friend? That was simply, my questions, after the movie ended. And that was pretty much it, And then I would say, like, how did Madison Kate allow herself to get inside the situation? But her character kind of like played like into the abusive woman story arc. It starts off with, controlling ways, doing little things, doing little controlling things here and there, like probably not, saying he doesn't want you to work because, he wants to be the one to be the breadwinner and all this other stuff. And then, doing little or saying little things, to her, not in a menacing way, but, kind of just like, being like, kind of like, mean in the way he was saying things or whatever. And then also, once the abuse fully started, then she started making excuses for him, like why he was doing it and why she couldn't leave, and the type of relationship he had like with his dad and all of that. So Madison Kate's arc as an abusive woman, trying to get out of a relationship, to leaving a relationship and being on the run and stuff, was kind of like a pretty much near to accurate, portrayal. But, for the most part, I kind of like the movie. I really don't have any kind of like bad things to say about it. This thing had at the box office a 3.5 million. It made 3.5 million at the box office. I wonder where it played, because I don't remember seeing this. But I know right now you can catch it on Netflix. And again, it is called Till Death Do Us Part. And it's interesting. I just caught it over the weekend, and yeah. I mean, if you're looking for something to just get you through your weekend, something you want to binge watch on Netflix, and you like a little murder mystery and stuff like that, I think it's the perfect, it's not the perfect, but I think it's a good movie to watch over the weekend, just something to get you through your binge and over the weekend and stuff like that. So that's it for me, guys. Until the next one, I will talk to you later. There won't be any more videos until after the Thanksgiving holiday. So enjoy your turkey if you're eating it. Be careful if you are, because there have been some recalls. So enjoy your Thanksgiving meal. Enjoy your holiday, and I will see you guys or talk to you guys on the next one. Oh, and before I go, the next couple of videos will probably be like this. You'll probably just hear the audios. You know, it just takes less time, you know, with the editing and all that other stuff. I can just throw a couple of pictures on top of this audio and just go from there. So it's going to be like this for the next couple of, you know, for a minute, probably until after the new year, especially like at work and things are a little bit crazy, you know, and stuff like that. You know, getting home late, it's just too much to be like doing like a full-fledged video and just like, you know, going through the whole thing. So my next couple of book reviews and, you know, movie recaps, or until I find another TV show I can watch and enjoy, will probably be more like, you know, audio type of a thing going on. So that's it for me, because I'm getting a little bit out of the way. Until the next one, later days, guys. Bye.